Claude Code is one of the most powerful AI coding tools today, but with that power comes new security challenges. In this guide, we will look at the key risks Claude Code introduces and how enterprises can secure it using identity controls, model access policies, sandboxing, and MCP tool governance. AI coding IDEs are quickly becoming the default interface for developers. Tools like Cursor, Copilot, Codex, and now Claude Code are moving from simple autocomplete to fully agentic workflows and are some of the more popular choices. But with this power comes a much larger security surface, especially in enterprise environments. And that is where TrueFoundry's integration of all of these coding IDEs with its AI gateway becomes really important. Let's zoom in on Claude Code, which is one of the most powerful and therefore most sensitive tools in this space. Claude is available across three interfaces: browser, desktop, and CLI. Claude AI is great for quick prototyping. Desktop adds more structured workflows in project context, but Claude Code CLI runs directly in the developer's terminal. And that's how it inherits the same permissions as the user, meaning access to files, shell, and network. So let's discuss security now. Before anything else, enterprises need to start with identity and access control as a foundational layer. The first step in case of Claude AI and Claude Code Desktop is configuring identity controls in terms of SSO using SAML or OIDC with your existing identity provider. But in case of Claude Code, because it is a CLI based approach, you have to do API key management, and this applies for any non-browser usage which calls Claude's API. The API keys have to be issued using the Claude admin console. They have to be stored in the secret manager and then managed. Now, once identity is in place, the next challenge is controlling how models are accessed. There are three ways in which enterprises can enable model access. The most secure one is the MDM or mobile device management based approach using tools like Jamf or Intune. How it works is you have to push a managed settings.json configuration file through MDM on the developer machines and lock it at the operating system level, which ensures that developers cannot override these policies. This approach of MDM works across multiple methods like with AI gateway of your own or TrueFoundry's AI gateway, which enables access to 1,000 plus models, Anthropic's direct API, or a cloud provider based approach like Amazon Bedrock or Google Vertex AI. All in all, this is very high security and there are multiple providers that you can connect to here. Anthropic also offers server managed configs, which is simpler but limited. This works in the sense that settings are directly delivered from Anthropic server when a user authenticates, and there is no MDM or file deployment needed. But the limitation here is it only works with Anthropic's direct APIs and the models therein. Third-party providers or custom gateway URLs are not possible, as well as users with sudo access can tamper. So this is medium security. And the last approach is either using a direct cloud provider like Amazon Bedrock or Google Vertex AI, or let's say TrueFoundry AI Gateway without any additional MDM. Depending on the models provisioned and enabled, developers can access, so the access control is taken care of. But the shortcoming is there is no operating system level enforcement, so developers can reconfigure locally. All in all, this is high security, but it's still better to have MDM enabled on top of this third option. In terms of the flexibility, if you go with direct cloud providers, you are limited to a single provider. But with TrueFoundry AI Gateway, you get access to 1,000 plus LLMs. And in addition to that, you can also link your own self-hosted model endpoints through the gateway to ensure that all traffic passes through the gateway, which enforces access control, rate limits, budget limits, and also virtual model routing with failovers on all requests before they reach the underlying provider. In addition to this, with MDM, you can ensure that the policies which are placed at the system level path apply to all users on the developer machines and cannot be overridden. This is a very important method to enforce developer policies. As you can see in the screenshot, only these two available models will be made available, and the environment variables like Anthropic's base URL, which is the gateway URL, default Opus model and default Sonnet model, which acts as the endpoint for that particular label of Opus or Sonnet, can also be defined as part of this managed settings.json file. Now, because Claude Code operates directly in developers' terminals, it gives the broadest attack surface out of all the three interfaces that Claude is available in. So there have to be some more security measures, especially when we think about agentic workflows, that it's not just about the model, it's also about the tools and the MCP servers. So let's look at it from that angle. The simplest thing is Claude features native sandboxing. So the first thing you should do as an enterprise admin is to enable Sandbox for all developers, which enables file system protection, network protection, and also defense against prompt injections. But if you think about MCP servers which expose these tools, it's also important to have MCP servers approved and pre-registered on a centralized MCP registry through an MCP gateway. Once this is done, all you need to do is to allow a single URL of the MCP gateway, which is a centralized endpoint for all of your MCP servers across the organization, and anything other than that will not be allowed for developers to access. So it's a single point of access of MCP servers. Even though this is done, developers still need to go and navigate to the MCP gateway and copy paste the endpoint of the MCP server and paste it in their IDE configuration files. So one additional step to go beyond that is to configure this with MDM, which means that preceding happens and whatever MCP servers developers have access to, it will automatically be fetched and the developers can access those MCP servers. And developers will not be able to add or use any MCP servers beyond what is defined here. And how you can enable it is by pushing a managed mcp.json file on every developer machine using MDM. So if any access control changes are made on the MCP registry, on the MCP gateway, they will automatically be reflected on the developer machines where they do not need to manage this manually. So this combination, gateway, sandbox, and device control via MDM is what makes Claude Code enterprise ready. In addition to this, TrueFoundry AI Gateway and MCP Gateway provide additional features like detailed observability of all of your agent's activities, audit logging, and you can also configure usage patterns. Thank you for watching and feel free to check out the link in the description below for more details.